Hello, everyone, and welcome. I believe we're live. All right, welcome to Into the Mind Music Live every Monday night here at 7:30. And if you're a subscriber and you're watching this, I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you for subscribing. And if you're not a subscriber, think about subscribing so I can keep you up on the latest music news and what's happening at NJ Bass Academy for all you aspiring bass players. And don't forget to stick around for the little mini lesson at the end of this broadcast. All right. Well, thank you all for hanging out. I do appreciate that. All right, so let's get right over into the news. What's new? And what's news is the Foo Fighters welcome rock back at Madison Square Garden show. The group's 3-hour set was New York's biggest concert since March of 2020, heralding a return to something like normalcy. And there's David Grohl rocking out. Hello, we waited here for this. Foo Fighters sold out, full capacity, Madison Square Garden show. Welcome back more than just live music in New York. Over 3 loud, sweaty, emotional, and supremely fun hours, the band ushered back in the exhilarating familiarity of our past, giving us an experience many music fans feared wouldn't come back for a much longer time. Well, we're glad it's back. We're glad concerts are back. Even before getting into the venue, the scene outside MSG was its own brand of weird. The audience member carried normal COVID anxieties. Some were masked as many eased into what would become New York's largest indoor concert since March 2020. Hovering over the line, a small group of protesters touted signs that railed against both the vaccine. Vaccines contain petroleum, read one. And the Excelsior Pass, the NYC only digital passport that provides proof of vaccination and was required for entry at the show. So you have to prove that you're vaccinated, of course. I knew this was all coming. I said this months ago. So if you're against vaccines, you don't go to concerts. It's simple as that. Not great as far as when I'm concerned. Anyway, MSG and the Foo Fighters, complicit in crimes against humanity, said one sign adored with a needle and skull. Another sign invoked Dave Grohl's latest Nirvana bandmate Kurt Cobain, claiming he would be rock and rolling over, which does a lot of work in just assuming that Cobain would be both anti-vaccine and a COVID conspiracy theorist. The weird vibe outside washed away once inside, of course. Music cures all. The Excelsior Pass check didn't add any extra hassle to the sometimes tedious hoops to jump through before entering any concert venue. It bodies well for the coming future of indoor concert safety, which will likely necessitate other variations of the passport on a national or global level. The scene inside was more relaxed and carried on as if no one had passed at all. One older couple apologized for their exuberance on their first big night out in a long time, as if we all weren't feeling that same type of nervous but thrilling energy of being inside with tens of thousands of strangers once again. With no opening act, the Foo Fighters fittingly eased into the show with a stripped down, times like these that built into a bolsterous full band experience. The first 3 songs were a thunderous welcome home to the crowd and to the band themselves with Pretender and Learn to Fly rolling it out. It was truly a sea of bodies, with the GA standing room, general admission standing room, section packed to the brim with people politely honoring the fact that maybe not everyone was ready to open up this pit. Instead, the almost synchronized looking jumping and arm pumping was a sight to behold. And it goes on and keeps going here. Being that this was the first show back, there were a few tricks up the Foo Fighters' sleeve. Drummer Taylor Hawkins swapped places with Grohl to cover Queen's Somebody to Love, which served as an excellent showcase of his own singing skills as well as an opportunity for the karaoke missing members of the crowd to see if they still got it. Later during the encore, the band covered the Bee Gees' You Should Be Dancing, making for the live debut of the DGs. The group Disco Alter Ego will release the album Hail Satan on July 17th as a record store day exclusive. Long before they performed the song, Barry Gibb's face had a prominent role in the show, replacing the group's logo as Hawkins' bass drum cover. The biggest surprise came via a special guest, Dave Chappelle. My man Dave. Hey Dave, shout out to Dave Chappelle. The group were musical guests on the Chappelle host post-election episode of Saturday Night Live in November, but on Sunday night, Chappelle unofficially fronted the Foos. The comedian performed Radiohead's Creep with no further explanation, arriving and exiting the stage. What's going on here? It's moving. Yeah, where are you moving to here? Oh boy. All right, well, this was just jumping around here. All right, here we go. The fact that Chappelle, a longtime Creep fan, was excellent at belting out the 90s mega hit, another grand tribute to the hours of karaoke, oh God, karaoke we missed out on over the past year. All right, because the Foo Fighters are most at home in the arena, there are a number of loaded new normal double meanings that could be placed on most of their big hits. Times like these and My Hero felt especially profound during the set, but concert closers Everlong may be the most apt. Who knew that anything could ever feel this real or be this good again? What? I knew it would be back. Just glad it's sooner than later. It wasn't just the return of Rock to the Garden, it was a return to joy. What a pleasure to sing along with you. And it goes on to give the Foo Fighters set list all the way down. Times like these, Pretender, Learn to Fly, No Son of Mine, The Sky is a Neighborhood, Shame, Shame, Rope, Run, My Hero, These Days, Medicine at Midnight, Walk, Somebody to Love, Queen cover sung by Taylor Hawkins, Monkey Wretch, Orlandra, Breakout, Creep, Radiohead cover that was sung by Dave Chappelle. Boy, I would have liked to have seen that. All My Life, Aurora, This Is a Call, Best to You, and the encores were Making a Fire, You Should Be Dancing, the Bee Gees cover, and Everlong. All right, guys, so concerts are back at the Garden. They are back. All right, so I'm going to go here. So the Foo Fighters, yeah, my cousin was at that concert. Such an awesome time. Awesome time. I'm going to check the chat. Shane. Hey, Shane. How you doing, my buddy? Shane. All right, I'm glad you're here with me, man. Yeah, so David Grohl and the Foo Fighters killing it last night at the Garden. Glad you're watching, Shane. Haven't seen you in a while. Hope to see you soon. And let's check one more. I'm going to check one more thing in the news before we get going here. Let's see. I'll let this load in. Joni Mitchell talks with Cameron Crowe in rare new interview. And I just love Joni Mitchell's music and certainly a legend. Um, Singer songwriter discusses recording her 71 masterpiece, the album's legacy, and the state of her singing voice. So let's see what she says. Ahead of the 50th anniversary of Blue, Joni Mitchell discussed her 1971 masterpiece, the album enduring legacy and the state of her singing voice in a rare new interview conducted by Cameron Crowe for the Los Angeles Times. Like all of my albums, Blue came out of the chute with a whimper. It didn't really take off until later. Now there's a lot of fuss being made over it, but there wasn't initially, Mitchell told Crowe. The most feedback that I got was that I had gone too far and was exposing too much of myself. I couldn't tell what I had created, really. The initial response I got was critical, mostly from the male singer songwriters. It was kind of like Dylan going electric. They were afraid. Is this contagious? Oh, prior to the interview, Crow opens with an anecdote about one of Joni's jams. Private all-star jam session that occurred occasionally at Joni Mitchell's Los Angeles home at a recent gathering. Mitchell, who wasn't performed publicly since 2013, 2 years before she suffered a brain aneurysm that impacted her ability to speak and walk, sang blues, All I Want, alongside Brandy Carlisle, one of the jam session guests. Oh, so that's a shame. I didn't know that 2 years before she had a brain aneurysm. It was a fun evening, Mitchell told Crow. I wasn't sure I would be able to sing. I had no soprano left, just a low alto. The spirit moved me. I forgave myself for my lack of talent. Elsewhere in the Los Angeles Times interview, Mitchell talked about the real Laurel Canyons as opposed to the community dispersed in the recent documentaries, as well as recording Blue. The real life inspiration behind the albums Carrie and her breakup with Graham Nash that inspired much of the LP. I thought with Graham and I, our relationship was very strong. I thought that it was one that would last. I'd have Mitchell told Crow, and so I disappointed myself when that wasn't so, and that's why I was so sad at the time. To celebrate the 50th anniversary of Blue this week, Mitchell will release her The Reprise album, the next installment of her archive series, with this set focusing on Blue. Songs to a sequel, Clouds and Ladies of the Canyon. The liner notes for the latest collection were penned by Carlisle, while Crow wrote the notes for the archive series' first volume. Okay, so Joni Mitchell is coming out with the archive series, and she's still going. Bless her soul, bless her soul. That's all. That's all I have to say. She's provided so much inspiration and talent, and she certainly has a lot of followers. That is for sure. Okay, let's go back here. I'm back to scene one. Okay, so I hope you saw that, the Joni Mitchell thing. I hope I didn't mess it up with all these screen settings. All right, so what's happening at NJ Bass Academy? Well, um, it's going to be great. I'm going to be going to see King Crimson, and maybe I don't know if I can document some of that. I'm not really sure if I can film or if I can record. I guess I'm just going to have to find out. I have to call PNC, but I'll at least get something on my phone, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm stoked to go see King Crimson and the Zappa band, a bunch of guys that I guess played with Zappa. So that should be a fun. That should be a fun show. And what else is going on at NJ Bass Academy? Excuse me one second. Oh, I don't want to be too rude or too relaxed, but it's Monday. It's 7:30. I'm allowed to have some coffee. Cheers to you. Oh, that's good. Oh, I did get out this weekend to see a couple of local bands, so I'll put them in my news here today. I went to the Uptown Bar in Keyport, New Jersey to see Southern Steel. And if you don't know who Southern Steel is, they do a tribute to Southern rock music. And they're awesome. They're really, really, really awesome. I mean, they got it down. They got the sound. They got the look. They got the feeling. And yeah, man, they were killing it. They were really, really good. The place was packed. I did get a little bit of film. Maybe I'll show some of it next week. But because they do music by other artists, I won't be able to play the sound, which is kind of ridiculous. So I don't know how I'm going to get around all of that kind of stuff, but we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll just post it on Facebook because Facebook, it doesn't matter. And then after that, I went to the Elixir, which is about 2 miles from my house, maybe. And I went to go see an acoustic group, Hollow Molly, and that's the members of Midnight Rock Show doing their acoustic set along with the guys from a band called Highway Robbery. I don't know if they were sitting in or if this is a new thing that they're doing, but I have to talk to them. And they're all my friends and super talented. And yeah, so it was a great weekend. So shout out to Southern Steel and a shout out to Hollow Molly. All right. If anyone wants to give a call in and say hi, they can give a call in and say hello. If you're watching this stream, just give me a hello in the chat, so that I know that you're watching. Current viewers, 2, it says. So, okay. Well, if you're watching, I appreciate you very, 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 very much. All right, so that's about what's going on. And I can't say I'm stoked enough to be going to see King Crimson, and that was a present from my wonderful children, who I love so much, for Father's Day. We were talking about concerts, and I said, "Oh, I'd love to go see Crimson." They said, "Okay, let's go." So my camera keeps slipping. I don't know. It's such a problem child. I got it up too high too. It's kind of up there for the bass lessons. So how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing great. I mean, I feel like this COVID thing is lifting a little bit. And it was so much fun to see all my friends that used to come see me when I was playing live in the bands. And I missed them all tremendously. I miss you guys. It was great seeing you all over the weekend. Okay. Well, while I was getting ready for the show, I was transferring some files from my looper pedal. And of course I did something wrong. I don't know what I did wrong. I'm always doing something wrong with this looper. It's not the box's fault. Believe me, the the looper is fine. It's the person that's controlling it that's not fine. So I can't get my pedal board to work underneath here. And just before I went on, I figured out that the battery is also dying in my bass. So if it sounds a little bit distorted, that's what that is. And I'll make sure I change that for next time. You actually have to get a screwdriver out and change all different things. Okay, let's see. We got this working. All right. So I'm gonna try a little loop, and I'm gonna mess around with a little blues thing here on G7. I was gonna go through the whole chord progression, but I think I'll just stay on one chord so that I could demonstrate these scales. So what I'll be demonstrating is a few different scales off the top of my head. That go with the dominant seventh chord in a blues. Okay? So you guys know the blues. Okay, so those are all dominant seventh chords. But I think we're just going to stay on G for this one. A little shuffle beat. Because I can't use my pedal board, so. I don't think it needs anything. Okay. Okay, so the first scale that I was just playing over with a few extra notes is the mixolydian. So the first basic that goes with the 7 is the mixolydian scale. Okay, so here you go. Okay, so that's your first basic, the mixolydian. Okay. The next scale that you could possibly use would be the Lydian flat 7, which is this. So here you go. Okay, so you got the mixolydian, you got the Lydian flat 7. Another interesting thing that you can play that just comes to mind, taking it out just a little bit, is the half step, whole step diminished scale. And that sounds like this. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so that takes it out a bit. Half step, whole step diminished. Let me see, what else? What else could I think of that you could play? Oh, okay, so the altered scale. The camera keeps slipping down. I'm having all kinds of trouble tonight. Okay, so this is what the altered sounds like, and this is the 7th mode of the melodic minor, 1/2 step up, so it's a G blues, and I'm playing A flat melodic minor from G. That's about all I could think of off the top of my head. There's a lot more. If you start including the modes, you can play the Phrygian mode. Which all sound good, but those are ones that I think everybody knows. You can play D Dorian, right? You could play Aeolian. And so on and so on and so on. Okay, so the obvious one, Mixolydian. Okay, so that was Mixolydian. Lydian flat 7. Half step, whole step, diminish. And the super Locrian or the altered scale. So each one of those has its different flavors. So if you pick a couple of them and you mix them up, then it starts to sound like something. And then when you start to add notes that aren't in the scale, that adds all the salt and pepper. What I'm doing here is just playing the plain Jane scale. Okay, so when we mix it up, it might sound something like this, where I'm playing the Mixolydian scale and then I'll play the altered scale or the super Locrian mode. It'd sound like this. Mixolydian. Mixolydian. Superloquium. Now Mixolydian with some passing notes into the Superloquium to add some tension and flavor. Mixolydian with chromatics. Superloquium. Lydian flat 7. To Mixolydian. Okay, so you get the idea. Okay, so none of my things, none of my pedal controls or anything transferred over to my machine. And like I said, that's my fault. And I'm losing the camera again. Okay, so you can see that there's a heck of a lot more that you can play over the dominant 7th chord besides the blues scale and the Mixolydian scale or anything else to add a little bit of spice and tension in your playing. So don't forget, if you're a bass player or if you're just a musician and you're getting some value out of this, don't forget, hit the smash the like button, because that really helps me out in the algorithms. And it helps YouTube send me out to other people if you hit the like button. And don't forget, subscribe also if you want to be updated with the latest music news and things that are going on around the country with music and at NJ Bass Academy. Okay, so this was just a little impromptu lesson at the end, and I'll just go over this just one more time. So in a blues, over any of the dominant 7th chords, you can play the Mixolydian scale or mode. The next one I think would be the Lydian flat 7. You have that note now. So that's 2. You have the half step, whole step diminished. That's 3. And you have the Superloquium mode, which is actually the melodic minor 1/2 step up. So it's A flat melodic minor starting on G. And that's the Superloquium mode, and it sounds like this. And you could do the same thing over C7 from the C. And for the G. All right, so I'm going to erase this. Let's see. Let's see how my keyboard skills go. Okay, I'm having a little trouble here without my pedal, but that's all right. I'll see if I can get it this time. Just keep it simple, stupid. Nope, didn't get it that time. That's okay. I messed up the keyboard progression, that's why. Let's see if I can get it anyway. I'm gonna get it. Here we go. There you go. All right, so I'll try and practice what I preach here. All right, so you got it. Okay, so I hope you got some value out of this lesson. Don't forget, hit like and subscribe. I'm going to go over here and check my chat. Check my chat. All right, Shane, I hope you're hanging in there with me. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Okay. And I'll try to get my looper, try to set it up better for next time. All right, so I hope you got some different ideas out of that. And remember, it's not what I can do with these things, it's what you can do with them. And they are just tools. Scales and arpeggios are just tools. And you have to be the craftsman. So if you're listening to me and you say, man, that sounds terrible, well, maybe you can do better with it. I hope you can. So I want you to be better than I am. And that's for sure. That's why I'm here. Any questions? Yeah, just hit me up in the chat and I'll give you my email. All right, so that's about it for tonight. NJ Bass Academy signing off. Don't forget, hit like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Peace, y'all.